Morning everybody, how are y'all doing today? I'm doing much better than I was yesterday because today we're finally just back to regular content. We're not talking about the quantum situation anymore. As more stuff unfolds, I definitely will talk about it, but today I just had to get away from the drama and we're instead going to be talking about some gaming drama instead. Now, as you guys all know, Modern Warfare 2 was revealed and we got the great announcement that it's going to be coming to Steam this year. Now this is great because I'm pretty sure the last Call of Duty that was on Steam was like World War II or Infinite Warfare or something like that. I believe so. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, this is the first Call of Duty in a few years that's been coming to Steam. So I'm very happy about that. However, as of now, I am not interested in purchasing this game. Mainly, well, for two main reasons. One, because of Call of Duty's track record in the last few years, and two, because of the $70 price hike they are doing this year. Now, obviously, on the current gen consoles, Call of Duty games have been $70 since Cold War if you want to get that upgraded edition, which is a complete ripoff, but ignoring that, now they are starting to drive up the price to $70 on PC as well. And from what I've seen so far, this game really does just look like Modern Warfare 2019, but with obviously a different campaign and maybe in like a couple new gameplay mechanics and multiplayer. But from what we've seen so far as of the date of this going live, which is, it should be Thursday, June 9th. It might end up being Friday, June 10th. I'm not exactly sure when it's going to be going live. But yeah, as of now, that's really all the info we have on the game. And they're trying to charge extra money for it. And if you go onto the Steam forums under this game, you will see this has pissed a lot of people off. But unfortunately, you know, we always have like fanboys and stuff in all communities. And today we're going to be looking at a Call of Duty fanboy who just really cannot understand why people might not be okay with a game being basically the same thing as it was a couple years ago, but charging extra money for it. And on top of that, it's still going to have the same, you know, system of the store with the battle pass and all the like $20 and $30 cosmetic bundles and stuff. But anyway, enough of this intro. Let's get into the video. Oh, and one last little disclaimer I forgot about. I'm going to skip the first 3 minutes of this video because it's just basically him giving his thoughts on the Modern Warfare 2 reveal and all that stuff. So if you don't believe me, you guys can go check out the original video for yourselves. But yeah, that's why I skipped the first 3 minutes of it.
But it is coming to Steam. We already have the pre-order pages up. Pre-purchase Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I'm in Canada. It's $89.99 for a standard edition. For the Vault edition is $129.99. And I'm getting a lot of glimmers and throwbacks and almost PTSD to Battlefield 2042. Now, I don't think it's going to be 2042.
I love that instant contradiction he made right there, because he's like, oh yeah, this is giving me flashbacks to Battlefield 2042, where they had like the super expensive editions and stuff, and then like, you know, we all know how the game turned out. But he says he's getting flashbacks to 2042, and this reminds him of that situation, but then immediately in the next sentence says that he doesn't think this is going to be like Battlefield 2042, which that's something this guy does quite a bit throughout this video. Is he'll say something and then almost immediately or a little later on he'll contradict what he said. So yeah, just keep that in the back of your mind because it's going to be very important as we go on throughout this video.
I really am praying to the video game gods that it is a better game than Battlefield 2042.
Yeah, and honestly, I am too, dude, but the way Call of Duty games have been recently, and like, you know, the way publishers have been releasing games before they're finished and then fixing them later, you know, I really don't have high hopes for this game at all. Like, the trailers are pretty alright, but I'm still not getting hyped for this game because I don't want to be disappointed. I'm not saying I know for a fact this game is going to be trash, but if you look at history, like, we all know history tends to repeat itself, and when you're talking about the video game industry, history repeats itself, it seems like every other day at this point.
I also hope that it's a better game than Vanguard and Black Ops Cold War, because both of those games were inferior to Modern Warfare 2019. We're already starting to see the threads out on the Steam hubs about the price tag. You know, this one, funny people defending a $70 price. The game will be filled with microtransactions, and you think $70 price is justified? This person says it should be free to play, much less $70 or even $60. He has a problem with game prices. nowadays.
Honestly, though, he's kind of right. Like, with how much money Call of Duty makes off of just microtransactions alone, they could honestly make all their games go free to play, and they'd still probably turn a pretty good profit every single year. And that's one of my main arguments for why this game should not be $70, is because if it's going to have microtransactions as well, why are you going to charge $70 for it? And another thing another one of my arguments against this is, so the last gen ports of Call of Duty are still 60 and the next gen ports are 70, which again, I don't believe the next gen ports should be 70, but whatever. You could try to justify it by saying, oh, it's because they, it's like more advanced, it's higher frame rates and better graphics and stuff. All right, let's say you want to justify it like that. Guess what? Everybody's PC is different. Some people like myself are probably going to be able to run this game at all max settings. Well, I guess not me, because I'm not going to be getting the game. But then other people, like I could run the game at like all max settings, probably a pretty good frame rate. But then there's going to be a lot of people out there who probably have to run it like medium or low settings and probably not get as good frame rates. So it's not like you can use the console argument where it's like, oh, it's getting like better next gen performance and that's why they're charging more. Like, you can't use that argument on PC because everybody's rig is different.
Person, $70 is bull. Like, straight up, with how the world's currently going with food, gas, and everything else, like, frick that.
That's another very valid point, especially if you live in the United States, because of the whole war going on. Our gas prices have been rising significantly, and honestly, where I live, they've been getting worse lately somehow still, actually. So, yeah, for a lot of people, the price might be a concern simply because they might not want to or be able to put in the extra $10 to get the game.
This person, I feel sorry for people who pre-order/buy this. People who buy this, especially at that price, don't value their own money and don't have any self-respect/standards. Nobody knows how the game will turn out, and it will probably have shady DRM like Denuvo as well. Once the servers get down, the game you purchased is dead. But right, just consume product and get excited for the next product.
Well, I think saying they don't have self-respect is taking it a bit far, but I do kind of agree with the whole not valuing your own money and not having standards thing, because there are people who are already pre-ordering this game, and all we have seen is the reveal trailer and a single gameplay trailer that was for the campaign, and from what we've seen in the gameplay trailer, they haven't shown off any new mechanics or anything from what I remember. And all we've seen is what looks like copy and pasted animations and guns and stuff. Admittedly, the level that they were showing off was pretty cool, but everything else looked extremely similar. We haven't even seen anything related to multiplayer yet, and people are already pre-ordering this game for either $70 or $100, which that just seems a little ridiculous to me. Like, that doesn't seem like making the most informed purchase, in my opinion.
This person, $69.99. What the fuck? This person says, yeah, didn't expect that to be on. The threads are going nuts. Here's the thing, man. This person kind of nailed it. With the way the world's currently going with food, gas, everything else, it's getting expensive to not only, consume entertainment content like this, but just to fucking live.
Now, remember that he said that because, he admits, oh yeah, it's getting more expensive to live and people might not be able to throw down the money for this game or something like that. Just remember that for later because it'll come back into play. Also, an ad pops up on the screen here. It's one of those ads that you just click the X to make go away. I'm sorry, I never X'd out of that because I let this video record and I was AFK at my computer. I didn't see it, so apologies for that.
Personally, for me though, I think a $10 increase on video games isn't really that big of an issue. I think the bigger issue that nobody likes to address, and I know it's going to cause issues in me saying it, are people's priorities.
That's right, everyone. It's not the greedy company who's charging extra money when they don't need to, except because they want to fill their pockets with more money that's the issue. It's you having other stuff going on in life that's the issue.
The last 2 years of being inside and not being able to see family and not being able to travel and not being able to do things has really forced my priorities to come to the forefront. It's really hard to talk about this without sounding really fucking arrogant.
Well, here's some valuable life lesson for you, bud. If you want to post something to the internet, but you're not entirely sure about it, just don't say it, because I've said stuff during the recordings of some of my videos that I was questioning later on, so I just ended up cutting it because I didn't know if it would go over well for me. Like, if you're questioning whether it's a good idea to put something out on the internet, just don't put it out there. Play it safe, because you're exactly right. It is hard to talk about this without sounding arrogant, and for the rest of this video, you sound extremely arrogant.
I find that when gamers see price tags on video games, they don't think twice about going to Steam forums, going to Twitter, and I've already seen it under my thread talking about this, people getting at me because I don't mind a $10 increase in my video games. It's not like this is happening every single year. So next year, when I buy Call of Duty, it's going to be 90, then 100, then 110.
See, you're right. It's not happening every year. It's not like next year it's going to be 80, and then the year after it's going to be 90, and so on. That's not the problem. The problem is that the price shouldn't be going up at all, and more developers and publishers are starting to do this and get away with it. I'm pretty sure one of the first people to do it, besides Activision with like Cold War, was Sony, I'm pretty sure, and all their quote-unquote next-gen games, which, you know, most of them are just cross-gen games that they're charging extra money for. But anyway, I already said this in the beginning of the video, but yeah, there's no justification for this whatsoever. Like I said, Call of Duty, based on how much money they make off of microtransactions, could probably go free to play and still turn a profit.
And another thing that I'm seeing, which I don't quite understand, is this notion of, yeah, but you're gonna buy it for $70 full price, and then next year there's just gonna be another one. Okay, so within a year's time, if I can put 100, 200, 300 hours into a game, which isn't really that much at all, especially for somebody like me who is going to be playing the games for content and streaming and doing everything else, I should be able to hit that no problem.
Well, good for you, dude. I'm glad you think everyone else should value what you think to be important, because not everybody thinks the same way you do, and that's your problem with this video, is that you're basically making this video under the assumption that everyone thinks the exact same way as you. Also, good for you. You can put hundreds of hours into the game, and you're going to get a return on your investment because you're a content creator who's profiting off this game, and whenever you post videos and do streams on this game. Good for you. The overwhelming majority, like 99+% of people, are not fortunate enough to be in your position, like myself. Like, I could get the game if I wanted to, but I wouldn't be profiting off of that game whatsoever. I don't make content surrounding the games. I don't get paid for YouTube videos that I make. I would not be making any money off of it. I would just be playing the game because I would, you know, be enjoying it. And not everybody is gonna, in fact, a lot of people who are busier, which is, you know, a lot of people who play video games, they're barely going to have time to probably play like 1 or 2 hours a day of video games, and they might not even spend all that time, you know, playing this one game in particular. So the idea of them breaking 200, 300, whatever hours is absolutely ridiculous. But just to go one step further, just in case that's not enough to convince you you're being arrogant, not everybody values a video game based on how much time they put into it. For example, I put like 40 hours into Battlefield 2042, and I still feel like it was a massive waste of my money, and I regret paying for it all the time. Like, not everybody sees value in a game based on how much time they can put into it. So again, just very arrogant on your part.
300 hours for a game that costs me 70, or for, in my case, it'd be $89. What is this issue? I'm starting to see more and more how skewed people's perceptions are of price.
For sure, dude. The 99.9% of casual players who, you know, probably have a problem with this and don't, you know, obviously monetize off of the content or anything like that. They don't get paid for playing the games. You know, yeah, definitely their perceptions are skewed. But you and the few other people who actually are fortunate enough and privileged enough to get paid to just play the video games and profit off of them, your guys' perceptions aren't skewed whatsoever. It's definitely everybody else.
Modern Warfare 2 is going to have a 2-year life cycle. It's already been confirmed Call of Duty 2023 isn't going to exist, obviously, unless something changes between now and then. As far as we're all aware, Call of Duty isn't coming out next year. So we have a 2-year life cycle. And from everything that we're reading, Call of Duty will be supported with post-launch free DLC, maps, basically what they were doing in 2019.
And this is one of the main problems. They're doing the exact same thing that they were before, and they're charging more for it. How do you not see the problem with that?
I put a video out in 2019 talking about the release, and I said that like I really don't mind the idea of a battle pass for cosmetics. It's one of those things, like, it literally doesn't affect the gameplay at all. And I know there's people out there that are like, yeah, but they start to cry about it.
You know, kind of like how you keep crying about people coming after you on Twitter and YouTube, not agreeing with you and calling you out for your bad take. But anyway, I agree, battle passes are probably the best form of monetization. But the thing is, like, if they're going to be charging $10 extra and then they're going to ask you to buy the battle pass on top of that, which obviously, you know, it's not required, but they're going to ask you to do it. Like, that's another reason why it's so unjustified, is because they have all these microtransactions and they're still trying to charge more for the game. And on top of that, actually with Call of Duty, you could argue that the battle pass actually kind of does affect the gameplay a little bit, because yes, you get the weapons from the free battle pass, but if you buy the battle pass, you get like 10% bonus battle pass XP, so you're upgrading your tiers faster, you're unlocking the new weapons and stuff faster. And then on top of that, when you buy a battle pass, you get access to more double XP tokens for weapons, just regular level, and the battle pass as well. So then you can keep upgrading the battle pass faster, getting to the new weapons faster, and then you're basically paying to get more double weapon XP tokens, which then allows you to level up your weapons faster and have an even bigger advantage. So it's not the biggest deal in the world, but to say that Call of Duty's battle pass doesn't affect the gameplay a little bit is just ignorant.
Here's the thing, man. To get into a game, when you look at a post like this game will be filled with microtransactions, and you think $70 price is justified. Personally, it's a $70 price tag to get into the game. Everybody's idea of what a game is worth is completely fucking subjective.
So you admit that everybody values games differently for different reasons, but earlier you were saying that everybody should think like you, and you were saying that, oh, if I can get 300 or 400 hours out of the game, then, like, if I can get all this time out of the game, then what's the big deal? Like, dude, what is going on? Another contradiction.
If you scroll down here, this guy really just says, he's like, yeah, $39.99 is a reasonable price for a video game. I mean, great. If that's what you think, amazing. The idea of going to Steam forums and going to Twitter threads and being in live streams just reeing about the price of a game. If you walked into Walmart today, and trust me, this is probably happening all over the fucking place. If you walk into Walmart and you need some cheese, and that cheese is $16.99, when last time you bought cheese, it was $10.99. What would you do? You wouldn't buy it. You would probably just look for a sale. You would probably just look for maybe another brand of cheese. Oh, fuck, that one's expensive. Is there any others out here? And then you would buy one, or you wouldn't, and then that would be the end of it. Would you be messaging Velveeta in Twitter DMs about why they're charging this much for cheese? You wouldn't. You wouldn't give a fuck.
Well, as someone pointed out in your comments, this is a very bad comparison because cheese does not have a standard price that most companies follow. In the video game industry, most companies, you know, they'll charge $60 for their new AAA game, and then obviously they might charge less, like they might charge more for better editions, and they'll charge less if it's like an indie studio or something like that. But as someone pointed out in your comments again, there is no standard price for cheese. In the video game industry, the standard price for a video game is $60. In the food industry, there's several factors, including ingredients, manufacturing, the processing, all that stuff, shipping, literally everything. And plus, no matter what kind of cheese you get, like this person said in the comments, like, it's still gonna melt on your pizza, it's still gonna taste good on your pizza, no matter what type of cheese it is. There's no direct alternate to Call of Duty that I know of anyway that's like the exact same thing but cheaper, and putting out like the same amount of content, like is maintained as well, has the same active player base and all that stuff. Like, yeah, you could argue Battlefield and Call of Duty are like competitors, but they're both completely different games. So yeah, with cheese, no matter what, you're gonna get the same result. You put it on your pizza, you put it in the oven, you have a nice tasty pizza. With a video game, not so much.
Outside of right in that moment, oh shit, this is expensive, let's try to get something else, or maybe just go without. It's all about priorities, man. But here's the thing. This entire gaming industry has conditioned people to always want the new, shiny, best thing. On top of the gaming industry conditioning us for that, social media is an instant gratification world.
So what you're saying basically is it's a bad thing for customers to want new, better products for their money, especially if they're going to be charging more for it. I mean, what exactly is the problem with that?
The generations that are coming up now, the guys who are teenagers trying to buy these games, they want instant gratification. They cannot fathom the idea of buying a game 6 months after launch and potentially being behind the curve. But it's because of your priorities.
Wait, I'm sorry, what? So all of a sudden people have a problem with being behind in a game if they buy it 6 months after it releases? What does this have to do with anything? What idiot would buy a game way after it's released and then be surprised and upset when they're behind other people in terms of progress in that game? And also, why do you seem upset that people have priorities besides playing video games? Like, for most people, playing video games is not the most important thing they have going on in their lives. Again, it is for you probably because it's your entire career, and I get that, but again, you're being extremely ignorant because you're acting like nobody else is different from you. You're acting like everybody else is going to profit when they buy this game. You're acting like everybody else is going to go to their YouTube channel, upload it, and get hundreds of thousands of views based on the game they bought, and they're going to get a return on their investment. Like, that's not how it works, bud. And again, I find it very ironic that earlier you were saying other people's perceptions are skewed.
You prioritize buying every single game that comes out at fucking full price. And then when a game increases its cost because they believe that that's what the value is, well, what the fuck? What the fuck, Big Fry? How can you sit here and defend it? And they lose their fucking minds.
Again, ignorance is off the chart here. Not everybody is going to buy every single video game the day it comes out for a full $60. How ignorant do you have to be to actually think that's how people's minds go? Again, not everybody is a content creator like you who can just drop money on these games and get a return on their investment almost immediately. Also, just because a company thinks their product is worth more does not mean the consumer has to think that. If the consumer doesn't think that the game is worth $70, which obviously a lot of people don't, they're going to speak their mind about it. If you think it's worth $70, that's on you, but don't attack people and make fun of them. And, like, you're doing, like, the funny voice right here. And don't, like, just basically say that they're crying to Activision just because they don't agree with you.
We sit here and we talk about the churn and burn of Call of Duty. There is nothing outside of your brain that tells you that you need to jump onto the next title, right? Oh, it'll just disappear when the next one comes out. You could literally go play multiplayer right now on Modern Warfare 2019, and there are still servers up, and it is still supported, and you can play it for, at this point, it's 3 years down the line.
Dude, you literally picked the worst possible recent Call of Duty game you could have. Remember when Vanguard came out and they did the Warzone update and it broke Modern Warfare for like a month or something like that? Your loadout selection would constantly pop up. There was absurd lag. The servers were terrible. You basically picked the worst possible Call of Duty game you could have because, as we've seen with Modern Warfare, eventually the game might just break and it might take a while for Activision to get off their butts and fix it. Also, just because people can still play the older games doesn't mean they're necessarily going to want to, because guess what? Those older games aren't being updated anymore. The player base is constantly dwindling from them. I just find it kind of funny that earlier you were saying, oh, it's $70, but it's okay because we're going to be getting a bunch of additional content, but now you're telling people to go pay $60 for a game that's not getting any new content anymore.
So this whole idea of, the next one's just going to come out and so you spent $70 on a game that's just going to disappear. No, that's bullshit. It's intentionally misleading. And I don't quite understand why, because most gamers, I would think, are fans of other forms of entertainment, music, movies, everything else. People will spend $30, go to a fucking movie, and not think twice about it for 2 hours of entertainment.
First of all, movies and video games are completely different mediums. They have different standards standards from their consumers. It's not like when people go and spend money on a movie, they're expecting the movie to constantly get updated and have new stuff added over time. And it's not like the movie's gonna come out unfinished with a ton of animation issues and stuff, because it's not like they can just fix it and update it later. Also, what movie theater are you going to that charges $30 for a ticket? The movie theater that's near me, they only charge like $10 for a child and like $12 for an adult.
Because they believe that that's worth it. There's nothing wrong with that. But then they'll turn around and they'll sit there and go, ugh, $70 for a video game? It's super fucking weird.
No, what's weird is people like you defending the price hike for no good reason whatsoever. But moving on.
I find that games like Fortnite and other free-to-play titles who bring in microtransactions have skewed everybody's perspective of pricing models. When you have things like Game Pass, who I actually think is one of the best things that a consumer could do, is jump into the Game Pass ecosystem. That being said, for the industry side of things, Game Pass is a detriment because it throws what people actually value video games for out the fucking window. Wow, this game's on Game Pass for, $10 a month, but then they look at a full price game and they're just, oh, what the hell?
Okay, who has subscribed to Game Pass and then looked at a full price game and all of a sudden said, yep, that's not worth it? Like, obviously, if it's on Game Pass and you have the option to download it from Game Pass or buy the game, obviously, you would probably, I would assume with most people, just want to download it from Game Pass. But if it's not on Game Pass, who's going to look at it, see the price point, and say automatically not worth it because it's $60? Like, no, that doesn't happen, dude.
How dare they? And they get almost like offended in a sense. At the end of the day, look, I think the trailer looks good. If you don't think the game is worth $70, then don't fucking buy it. I mean, it's as simple as that.
Okay, and if you think it is worth $70, then just go buy it. Simple as that. Stop attacking people for disagreeing with you and saying that they should all think the way that you do.
Coming at me on Twitter or fucking being in my chat talking about how dare you defend 70. Look, I'm gonna buy it, I'm gonna fucking enjoy it, I'm gonna put a couple of videos out, but I already have people calling me a shill for believing that if a company wants to charge a certain price and I think it's worth it, they just can't fathom the fact that I would consider putting my money towards something that I find value in.
Well, can you really blame people for calling you a shill when you're defending the price hike when there's no logical reason for why the price hike should exist? Because, like, up to this point in the video, you've basically provided 0 examples of why the price hike is okay. You're basically just being one of the consume product guys. Don't question Activision's greed. Don't call them out for that. Don't demand better. Don't demand more for your money. Just consume product and get ready for next product. Also, I find it kind of funny how you're calling other people out for, not being able to see why you're putting money towards something that you find value in, but it's perfectly okay for you to not see how people could not invest their money into something they don't see value in.
The gaming industry is in a weird fucking spot, and more every day when I see dumb fucking shit like that be the forefront of the discussion, it's ridiculous. People will complain about Call of Duty reskinning year in and year out. People will complain about Madden reskin year in and year out. At the end of the fucking day, it doesn't matter because there is obviously a crowd who will buy those games every single year.
Well, you would know, wouldn't you? Because you're one of them, and it's people like you that prevent these other people who are demanding better for their money. It's people like you who are part of the problem. Just handing Activision money or EA money for the same exact thing every year and just consuming product is exactly why these companies get away with this stuff. People like you just throw your money at them and never demand better.
And to be honest with you, the more that I think about it, the more I used to be like that, man. I used to think, man, why are people buying Madden every year? It's the same game. Why are people buying Call of Duty every year? It's the same game. If people can get 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially more hundreds of hours out of a $70 to $80 game, then what are we even talking about?
Again, you're doing the same thing you did earlier. You're assuming everybody places the same value in games as you do, and you're also assuming that everybody is like you and can sink in hundreds of hours into this game. When, like I said earlier, a lot of people who are going to be playing this game or who have played games before can probably barely get in an hour or two a day to play them. You're sitting here and dismissing all of that because it's not your situation. Again, extremely ignorant on your part.
The Battle Pass system that 2019 utilizes is the best microtransaction on a full price title that you can get. It's much better than loot boxes. It's much better than DLC map packs that segregate and split the community. It's just cosmetic. It has nothing to do with actual game mechanics.
Like I said earlier, that's a straight up lie, and as someone who plays Call of Duty, you should know this. The Battle Pass actually can affect gameplay. Yes, it's not a huge effect, but it's still an effect. Like I said earlier, you can get those double XP tokens, double weapon XP tokens. If you buy the Battle Pass, you're getting a boost for that, so you're unlocking the new guns sooner. There are advantages to the Battle Pass, and you're just ignoring them.
I'm going to be playing it because I thought the trailer did a pretty good job of showcasing, hey, it's Call of fucking Duty again. We're going back to Modern Warfare. I'm fucking excited, and I can't wait to see more. We're going to be seeing more content come out this week through Summer Games Fest. We're going to see some campaign footage. For some reason, this is the most controversial fucking Call of Duty announcement ever. I'm guessing that price point has just pissed off a lot of people.
You don't say.
I'm going to pay the 70, man. Multiplayer, campaign, Warzone comes out for completely free. We still haven't heard about DMZ, but they're kind of teasing things on social media about a new sandbox mode that's coming alongside Warzone 2. A 2-year life cycle, which is something that we have been begging for Call of Duty for a long time, so that the next games can take even more development time and focus more and put more quality in.
I actually just wanted to touch on that real quick. So assuming this game does actually get a 2-year life cycle and it does, actually get consistent new content for 2 years, like who knows, maybe we'll get like 12 seasons instead of 6 with this game. Assuming that's the case and the next Call of Duty has, much more time to expand and grow and add way more content for launch, then maybe you could justify the next Call of Duty being $70 because it'll have so much more content at launch than previous games. But this game is still coming off of a 1-year development cycle, or technically 3 years, I guess, but this game is coming out less than a year after Vanguard, and they already said, and this is one of the reasons I'm concerned, is this release date is actually earlier than what it was supposed to be because they're trying to make up for the money they lost after Vanguard didn't do very well. So this game could honestly end up being even more rushed than Vanguard at this point, but we're still acting like it's okay for it to be $70. And just keep in mind, guys, at the time this video was posted, we hadn't even seen the gameplay reveal yet for this game. We had only seen the reveal trailer.
This is what we have been asking for years now at this point, and now that we're here, people are still pissed.
Yeah, people are pissed that they're charging extra money for a game that's pretty much guaranteed to be a buggy, broken mess on day one, just like Cold War and Vanguard were. People aren't mad that there's an extra year of development time for the next game, and that's what you're acting like. You're basically just acting like people are mad because there's gonna be an extra year of development, dude. That's not what people are mad about, and you know it. People are mad that they're increasing the price for a game that's basically a copy-paste of Modern Warfare 2019 from what we've seen so far, and doesn't really add anything new that justifies the price hike.
That's the fucking internet for you. My name is Big Fried. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you liked the video, if you didn't like the video, dislike it. It's a weird time to be a content creator, especially a content creator who always tries to keep the people in mind when it comes to the conversations that we have.
Well, thank you for your permission, dude. I think I will dislike this video, but can we appreciate the irony in him saying he tries to keep the people in mind when he's having this conversation? Because, dude, this entire video has been nothing but you spouting pure ignorance and ignoring how other people feel.
Sometimes, and this is one of those instances, it is very hard to defend people reading about a $10 increase in video games when we're getting as much content as we are. And granted, this is all based on if the game is good. If the game is trash, well, that's a whole other conversation.
So you just admitted you automatically are assuming the game is going to be good despite countless pieces of evidence pointing towards the fact that it's probably likely not going to be, with, you know, how Cold War and Vanguard went. Also the fact that it's releasing earlier than it was supposed to because Vanguard was a flop, and the fact that, you know, AAA games over the last couple of years have been releasing extremely broken and unfinished, and then they've just been fixing them later because people like you are just happy to consume product and then get excited for next product.
My name is Big Fry. Thank you guys for watching. I know I pissed off quite a few people, but I'll see you on the next one.
And that's where the video ends, guys. So basically what we learned today is you just need to consume product and then get excited for next product. Don't actually hold these companies to a standard, and just be perfectly okay with them upping the price of a game even though there's no justifiable reason to, because, you know, you're an Activision and Call of Duty bootlicker. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will catch you all next time.